Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip of Anatomy of the Church and State. Be sure to catch the full episode on Rumble or ChristiansForLiberty.com. Links are in the show description.
Now, what I'm seeing lately, the fallout from all this Trump stuff going on, how do we encourage Christians to not just register, but to actually get out and vote, especially the ones who are, like you said, no man is going to be perfect in office. So what do we tell the folks that they see? It's like, well, Trump, he was a little too left on this, or this candidate, he was a little too liberal on this issue. Like, how do we encourage those people to just still suck it up and go vote?
Yeah, well, I lay this at the doorstep of the pastor. He's the shepherd. So again, you encourage your people to give. And that really, honestly, to get at the very core of it, that's it right there. Pastors just don't want to run people off. And the bottom line for that is the financial aspect of that. I will tell you something that I had to learn when I first started pastoring, that God is ultimately the one who lays it on people's heart to give. And so it's funny how pastors don't want to talk about voting or don't want to talk about, the biblical mandate to be involved. And they'll even over spiritualize it. And they'll say stuff like, well, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as rivers of water, he turneth it. So God's going to do what God's going to do anyway without our vote. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. Sovereignty does not detach our free will. You listen, if you want to get into determinism, then just pack it up and what you do doesn't matter, right? So no one says that. So the point is, if our choices matter, which scripture, is super obvious and really very forceful it's replete with mentions about our choices and how they matter. Well, then this choice absolutely matters. And I think what a lot of people do is they think in their mind that they're doing the most noble thing by just being on the fence. You know what I'm telling my church next year during the election? And I've already written out a bunch of this stuff. The devil owns the fence. You're sitting on the fence, but the devil owns the fence. And if the devil can keep you on the fence, all right, then he will ruin this country. He will ruin your marriage. He doesn't have to get you to come over to his side. He just needs to keep you on the fence. So for me, I just want to get pastors and churches. I'm not asking you to get up and say, I endorse this candidate. In fact, that will probably do more harm than good. I'm asking you to say, we have, a couple candidates running for this particular office. And I'm going to say this about DA because I really am passionate, as you could probably tell, about the district attorney election. And I'm going to say this affects your family. This affects the families around you. And I'm going to say we have a moral obligation to look at these two men through the lens of not a political party. Listen, they both are part of the same party. So this is a great example of saying we're looking at these two men from the lens of Scripture. And we're going to say, okay, which one is pro-life? Okay, there's only one. Okay, which one values justice, biblical justice? And by the way, if you add anything other than biblical to justice, it's no longer justice, right? Because something from the outside of this world has to dictate what is fair. Otherwise, it's just subjective. So, you walk through those biblical principles. By the way, it doesn't even have to be a message. It can just be an announcement. But do something. And I'm just asking pastors, hey, start somewhere. You're not going to have the courage to just get up and blast the Dodgers like I did. We go to Dodgers every single year. And we've spent tens of thousands of dollars, making that a church activity. We're near we're close enough to Dodger Stadium to go. So for me, I'm a Dodger fan. 90% of our church are Dodger fans, and we're not going. And we said, we're not going. You honor people that mock our faith. We're not going. Not only that, we're telling everyone else that we know of, all of your big accounts, they're not going either. I mean, Dodger Stadium's been empty. So for me, that sends a message. And we've got to do that. And some people say, well, what about this company? And what about that? Listen, if you don't do something, if you just say, well, everyone's woke or everyone, is tied into the LGBTQIA plus, well, okay, well, you're just not going to do anything. You're just going to sit on the sideline. So I'm just trying to engage people. That's all.
Yeah. And people need to understand, right, that there's certain levels. Like Target's a little different because the creator of that clothing line was specifically targeting children, right? So it's, when they say like everyone's woke, well, yeah, but they might be, but there's still certain degrees of it. And how awesome was it to see 5,000 Christians out there protesting the other day at Dodger Stadium? That was
absolutely,
that was awesome. Now you mentioned earlier.